The age-old debate, open carry versus concealed carry. We're going to be talking about that today in today's video, and I'm going to break down exactly how either way, you're wrong. Well, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk. My name is Chad, and this is the Hopeful Homestead. And in this series of videos, I like to sit out here in my little tiny cabin on wheels, drink some coffee with you, and talk about all the things that are difficult in life. Specifically, talking to all the dads and husbands out there. Because today we're talking about open carry versus concealed carry, and why it matters, why this debate needs to be settled once and for all. Now, yes, I can see the argument for both sides. I can see the argument for concealed carry guys, how they say that it's tactically not wise to show your firearm, that it makes you a target, it makes you stand out, it brings unnecessary attention to yourself. I get all of that. It makes your friends and family and general bystanders of where you are feel uncomfortable around you if they're not familiar with firearms. I understand all of that, and I think there's some credence to that, given the circumstance that you are going and carrying your firearm into. If you're just going grocery shopping, even though legally you're allowed to do it, and even the grocery store might allow you to carry a firearm openly, you probably shouldn't carry an AR-15 on a chest strap while you're walking around the grocery store shopping for groceries. It's going to make your task at hand difficult. It's going to be difficult to go shop for groceries because you're going to have a lot of people talking to you about it, stopping you. They're going to have security called on you. The police might get called on you, and then they have to investigate to see if you're actually doing anything wrong or not. Even though you aren't, they're going to investigate because someone's going to call and it's going to cause a fuss. So it's just unproductive for everybody involved to do something like that. Now, if there's civil unrest and a bunch of crap going on in the world, yeah, carry your big old AR-15 on your chest, strap it on your back, 100%. But if it's a day like it is today, where it's just a normal day in a conservative state like Florida, where you're going to the grocery store and it's safe and you're in a town that's safe, you probably don't need that level of readiness with your AR-15 being on you. But from the open carry guy's perspective, you shouldn't be restricted from a legal standpoint of doing it, because then it gets into encroaching on your rights. My side of the argument with open carry has always been, I need it to be something that's under my discernment. Like if I'm getting it out of my vehicle and I'm parked somewhere and I'm opening my gun case in my trunk to be able to get to my pistol that I'm going to put on my hip to go hiking with or something, anybody seeing that in that moment, I could have gotten arrested for that in the past, for just being visible for a brief moment. Taking a firearm and having it on my hip or in a chest holster while going out on a hike in nature by myself. That was illegal before in Florida, which is ridiculous. Wildlife protection, when you're out in a wild area, you need that gun to be readily available to you. So a chest mount or a hip holster is optimal for those kind of scenarios. And so while the police may tell you, oh, hey, even if there is a law in the books, you're probably all right to open carry out by yourself in the woods, but I don't like that gray area. I just need it to be not legalized, no legal ramifications around it at all, so that I can just carry my firearm how I see fit for the right situation. I can be responsible enough to be able to decide, okay, this is an appropriate scenario where exposing my firearm, holstering it in a way that is more accessible to myself, but is more visible to others, is good in this scenario, versus in certain circumstances like going to Walmart and walking around grocery shopping. When it comes to pistols though, go ahead and carry that pistol on your hip anywhere that allows you to. That's not intimidating enough to cause a fuss. I get why seeing someone carry an AR-15 with all kinds of tactical attachments on it would be alarming to people in a public setting. But again, legally there should be nothing there that can actually cause you to go to jail for it. I just think from an ethical and practical standpoint, it's not wise to open carry like that. So in the end, like I said, I see both sides of the argument. I see why concealed carrying is important for a tactical advantage and for making sure everybody around you feels comfortable. But at the same time, you should have the right to be able to decide for yourself when that is okay and when it is not. So you can take a gun out and carry it openly in a scenario where you feel like you need to. This goes back to my libertarian conservative principles I've talked about in previous videos, where I just don't want the government involved in this process at all. I don't want it involved in almost any of the processes of my life. So I certainly don't want it involved in how I choose to protect myself and my family. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee Talk. Again, this is the Hopeful Homestead. My name is Chad, and from here in my little tiny cabin on wheels, thanks for watching.